Joe Hopkirk. Are you about, Joe?
We're just doing the draw for the second heat. We'll have it to you in a short period of time.
Open wool handlers, you want to come down to the board?
Okay, the second heat of the open wool handling. Table 1, we have Panya Pifan, is it? I'm sorry, it's the way it's written here, I can't, but Panya, you'll know who we're talking about. Table 2, Rose Puha. Table 3, Emirena Braddock. And table 4, Joel Henry. There we go, that's the second heat of the open wool handling. Panya, Rose, Emirena and Joel.
Okay, can we have our shearers to the board? This is the first heat of the Golden Shears sponsored open wool handling elimination heats. Okay, our judges are just looking for their clickers. Are they kept up on the board? Looks like they are.
Yep, here we go.
How many sheep are we doing, guys? Is it 3 sheep? 3 or 4? 4 competition fleeces. Okay, looks like we're good to go. Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. So this is the first heat. I'm not sure how many heats we got. We've probably got about 10 or 12 heats of these open wool handlers. It's good to see these open wool handlers up and out of bed early. A lot of them can't sleep in past 5 o'clock in the morning anyway, so they may as well come down and get involved in the show. On stand number 1 from Ekitahuna, just up the road, we have Leisha Atkinson. Table number 2, we have a local girl, Betty Nico. Naya Hansen, she's from up the road in Ekitahuna as well. And down on table number 4, we have Greta from Gisborne. I'd like to welcome Mavis Mullins onto the commentary team. She really needs no introduction. So welcome, Mavis.
Good morning, Toma. Thank you. Yes, here we are with at the start of our open wool handling heats, and of course for those of you watching, this is the creme de la creme in our wool handling industry. These are the wool handlers that lead, that direct, and that really manage and guide most of the activities that happen in the shearing sheds. So they are pivotal to not just wool production or wool preparation, but also to the culture that goes on within a shearing shed. But look, let's just have a look at how these wool handlers manage on these first throws.
Well, looking at those throws, Mavis, the fleeces are holding together a lot better this morning than they did yesterday afternoon.
Do you know what? So the fleeces probably are holding just the same as they were yesterday, but the experience of these wool handlers kind of make it look like they're not quite the challenge that they were yesterday. Well-grown fleeces, beautiful well-grown fleeces from Cross Keys. Not a lot of binders in them, which means that they hang loose. And as a result, on table 3, you'll see that big overhang. That would probably be at least three or four penalty points just for the overhang. So that's what these judges are looking for. They're looking for a fleece that lands squarely on that table. Then these wool handlers have gone back to the board to ensure that the neck wool or the eye clip, which contains a lot of either VM or they're shorter with modulated fibre, is removed. That's about the only wool they're allowed to detach. Greta over here obviously has a big fan club from up the coast. They've had some really cool wins yesterday. Their young girl in the Young Heaven who won the novice, she was only coming for a ride. But under the tutorage of people like Greta and Tui, this is what can happen. All right, now these shearers are directed to come straight back out. They're not allowed to wait. These are the open wool handlers, no favours. There's some great throws down that way, Tuma.
There sure is throws on tables 1 and 2. A little wee bit of bunching for Alicia on table number 1, but Betty Nico, she's a local girl on table 2. Lovely throw. I'm just looking in the program on page 24. There's a little write-up about the judging. Judging in a nutshell, it says. So if you're, if you're really interested to see how these judges are really working, just get in there, go and buy a program. Don't be a tight bum. Go and buy a program and just see what these judges are looking for. But at the moment, all the shearers are shearing along nicely. They've all stepped up the neck. These wool handlers, they would have liked to have skirted one half of the fleece if they can. And then once the shearer goes around the back of the head, they'll get the cheek wool, put that in a basket, and then get back to the fleece.
Hey, Tuma, just something about the calibre of these wool handlers in this first heat. So Greta, down on number 4, mother of Joel Henry, world champion, bit of a maestro at the moment, who's taking a bit of a break from the shearing sheds, they tell me. So that's Greta. On number 2, Ngaio, she's come through the grades all the way from junior. She's been on maternity leave, they tell me. But here she is back, having a go again. And then Betty needs no introduction. Local girl, but actually a maestro on the fine balls as well. Let's look at Alicia. What's that throw like, Tom?
Yeah, throw's pretty good. A little wee bit of bunching up the top, maybe 1 point hanging over the side. But these shearers, they're putting some good pressure on these wool handlers. And that's what we want to see, because like you say, this is the best of the best of the best.
Sure is. Greta just withheld her throw from that last sheep. She's handled it pretty well, but once you interrupt your flow, it does have a bit of an effect. She probably won't be as happy with that as maybe she could have done a bit better, but it's landed at least in a way that it's easy to find all those processing faults on that fleece.
Up the neck work, the shearers, the wool handlers will stick with them until they work around the head. Hopefully they get half the fleece done before they go back to the shearer, and they'll get the rest of it now. We've got the 4th and final fleece on the board. So in the back of their minds, these wool handlers, Mavis, they'll be thinking about the clean-up.
They sure will, and if they're not, then they're not going to be in the game. But the clean-up is just as important as any other part. In fact, it's probably the most important, because If you've been efficient and planning all the way through, your time will reflect that efficiency. You'll notice there's lines on the board. That determines their space, the wool handler space. The bottom of the board is not their space over the side, so that, you know, anything over, they're going to find a penalty on. These wool handlers on their last sheep have really found their stride in terms of their throws. There's been some lovely throws happening here.
1 minute and 10 seconds is the seal time. So that means once the shearer pulls the cord on his last sheep, these wool handlers have 1 minute and 10 seconds to skirt the fleece, tidy up, process all the faults from underneath the table and stuff, and then put their hands up. Once that 1 minute and 10 seconds is gone, it's 1 point per second, and Ngaio is not mucking around. That's her on table 3. She's got brim in hand, Mavis.
Yeah, where the heck did she come from? Way to go, Ngaio. Now, again, for every piece of wool left on the floor the size of a credit card, they're going to attract 1 point penalty. So the real aim of the game is to have a sparkling, totally cleaned up area. And if it's not, you'll suffer. So here's Ngaio. She's just trying to get the last of it done. She's looking like she wants the time. Yes, she does. That's a pretty quick time.
It is a pretty quick time. We've got Leisha down here on table number 1. She's down here pulling out the second pieces from the locks. Nice and tidy. You'll notice the tidiness of these open wool handlers compared to the other classes. Time down here is a far superior job.
Thank you, Ngaio. Taking to the back of the board so the judges can do their thing. Thank you very much, competitors. It's a bit of a new thing to have to do, but let's just make it easy for everyone.
So we've got Betty Nico here. She's finishing touches for her.
And Greta. So each one of those baskets, as we're all aware, contains a different processing fault. They will go out the back to a set of judges, another set of judges, who will then determine whether or not they have accurately sorted through those processing faults. So it doesn't end here.
Okay, wool handlers, once you put your hand up, you are to move to the front of the stage, please, and let the judges get around and do their things. You're not to touch any of the baskets. Greg, next heat.
Thank you, guys. I'll just announce Heat 3 for the open wool handling. Monica Potai, Candy Hiri, Chelsea Collier, and Logan Kamrua. Okay, that's heat number 3. Monica, Candy, Chelsea, and Logan. Could we please call to the desk Amy Kiraka and Maxine Pugh, is it? P-U-E? Can you...
Maxine Pugh.
Pugh. Maxine, could you come to the table, please?
Who's in our next heat, Greg? Heat 2.
Heat 2. Pania Pirari Rose Puha. Emma Rayner Braddock and Joel Henry.
Another top lineup, Mavis, of open wool handlers.
Sure is. We can expect to see wool flying everywhere as we work through these heats. This is kind of the hard graft. This is just about getting through to the next round. So there's a lot of care and a lot of focus here. Once you get through to the, to the next level, you can start to not relax a bit, but it is more around perhaps taking the odd risk. No risks taken in the heats. It's all about just getting yourself through to the next level. While we're waiting for these wool handlers to get themselves ready, we're just waiting for the green light up the back. Just want to have a chat to Inuro, local legend. He's my favourite bunga, love him dearly. And now a finalist for the Old People's event tonight, Mi'i.
Yeah, I'm just shocked.
But shocked. That's not like you.
Yeah.
And never lost for words except for today. Awesome, Mitty.
Thanks, Mavis. Just going forward, if I'll announce heat number 4. Heat number 4, the open wool handling. Raina Williams, Ida Ratima, Trish Milky, and is it Foni Wahapi? Sorry, guys, it's Foni. Sorry if we got it wrong. It's a bit hard to read here, but I'm sure you know who you are. That's heat number 4, the open wool handling.
I'll give you some real lessons later on in the day, Greg.
Can we have our shearers to the board? Shearers to the board. We've got the green lights.
Pānia Piware, Rose Puha, Emma Braddock, Joel Henare.
Timekeepers ready. Shearers. No. We got the hand. We need another reed bin or another reed basket. Oh, had a man's look. Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. Okay, so we've got 9 baskets around the table. 9 different baskets, and in each one of those baskets will be a different line of wool. And then we've got our main fadge, as we can call it, and that takes the fleece wool. So these wool handlers, there's a lot of work that they need to do this morning. But, you know, when they've been working full wool, it should just be second nature to these wool handlers. Isn't that right, Mavis?
It sure is, as we've earlier said. These are the wool handlers that direct the action in the wool shed. These are the leads of the leads. And so we expect the most from them. If you've been watching all the way through, from your novice to your junior, senior, and now the open, I am sure you will see a marked difference. The fact that most of these, or nearly all of these throws, are landing directly on the table, not a lot of overlap, kind of tells you the calibre of these wool handlers. And of course we've got the star of the place at the moment, Joel Henare, right down here on the end stand. He's just been a master of this thing. He's been involved since a very young age, and he's taken every single opportunity to better himself and to be the best he can at what he's doing right now. Let's see how he places this fleece on the table.
Just coming in here, Mavis, thank you. We're still looking for Maxine Pui, Maxine and Amy Karaka. Maxine and Amy, if you're out there, please come over to the table. We're missing you for the next competition. Thank you.
All right, so Joel, yep, that was I'm not going to say perfect throw, but pretty blooming close. All of them, what lovely throws. And you can see that on that table on number 3, we've got Emma Raina. You can see how loose, actually all those 3 down that far end, how loose, how disconnected they are without those binders through the wool fleece. So very challenging. Great job putting it out there, putting it on there. Back to the undermine. Joel, in his typical fashion, is sorting through those second pieces and locks as he goes. And of course, that's what we talk about. You can do that as you go. You're going to have a very quick time at the end. So let's just check that out and see how he goes.
Rose Puha, she's working her way around the top of the fleece, pulling out the pieces. She's happy, starts getting the pre-roll-up thing going on, looking at her shearer, making sure that she's got everything under control, runs back to her shearer, catches that cheek wool. The cheek wool is not to touch the main fleece wool, the beautiful main fleece wool, or that's classed as contamination. And if that happens, you'll see these judges, they'll get a little smile on their face when they see these wool handlers miss something, and it kind of makes their day. But here we go, another fleece about to hit the table. Emma Raina's got a nice little fleece, beautiful, well done Emma Raina. Rose turns and throws, didn't quite release. Pānia Piwari down here, she did the pressing yesterday. I think it took her 30 minutes to press a bale. but she's such a little thing. Oh, I think that was more in the setup on this one on table 1, Mavis.
Yeah, look, these throws are pretty stunning, actually. But, Tom, I just really quickly want to shout out to Paddy Mason and his team of men up here. You know, these guys are doing this. This is all for love, and we appreciate the skill set of those shearers up there as well, because if you don't have a smart shearer up here in these competitions, then it makes it double hard. But these guys are doing a fantastic job. Back to the board we go. Look, they're all just coming out of that undermine. A lot of work in there. There's a lot of loose wool, a lot of varying lengths of staple wool that they're having to sort through. So they're spending a lot of time away from that table, more than perhaps normally would have happened. But there they go back. Joel's back. They're all back on the table, making the best job they can there. Back to the board they go to get those eye clips. These things are all really important to the value of wool, and I guess the value of the wool that you're seeing at the moment. A farmer's probably getting a return of about $4 something for under 50, $4.50 and under. And the value that's being added here, if it wasn't being prepared, you could discount that number by a lot. Here we go for is this our third? Beautiful. Beautiful throws all round. Some hanging, a little bit of bunching, but on the whole, considering the kind of fleeces we've got to work with here, that's a brilliant job. Wouldn't you love to be working in a shed where fleeces are coming at you on the table like that every day, all day?
Just noticed over there, Mavis, a couple of our old retired commentators, one being your husband and, of course, Mr. Phil O'Shaughnessy down from Auckland sitting in the audience there. As you can see them, Mavis, they've given many years of service here, and great to see them having a good catch-up over there.
We are still looking for Maxine Pui and Amy Karaka. We need you guys to check in. But back to the wool handling. It looks like there's a little bit of yellow this morning, Mavis. I've just seen a few of these wool handlers. Betty Nico in the last heat, she had maybe 12 lines of wool around the place.
Well, there was a bit of a session at the front of the stage at the beginning where the chief referee came. She showed the wool handlers there that there is some hard yellow that might come through. And I guess what these wool handlers need to understand is that the lighting here is quite yellow, whereas when this wool goes out the back, it is pure white. So some of the yellow might not show up. Wow, fantastic. Joel, lovely Pania. Good shot. Emma Ryan, it looked like I thought you were going to jump on the table with it for a minute there. That was a big one for you. Very cool, Rose. So yes, there is potentially a line of yellow that might be found with these fleeces. So if there's more than the 9 baskets being filled, you can understand why. Joel's on his roll-up. And remember how we talked about being prepared at the very end, because that will affect how quickly he's going to be able to get himself tidied up. But he's away, and actually, so is Pania. That pressing yesterday must have done her the world of good, because she's right on it.
Pania Piwari, she's got the brim in hand underneath the table. She's got the big smile. Way to go, Pania. She's right there with the world champ, Joel Henare. Joel's down there on his hands and knees. We got Emma Raina here, brim in hand. Rose Puha, come on,
yes,
get left behind. Here we go, Pania Piwari, you haven't got a lot left. Come on, Pans, keep it going. Keep the tempo up. Rose, keep pushing it along. 1 minute and 10 seconds is probably already gone, so you need to pull your fingers out. Here we go, it's going to be Pania. Yes, it is. Well done, Pania. Emma Raina's happy, hand up. Rose Puha just has a look around. A lot of these wool handlers, they don't really look around. You do need to look around. She said that her board wasn't swept. So that'll take her another couple of seconds to get that done.
I think the thing is, wool handlers have a choice at every step of the way. They could go for time and sacrifice perhaps some of that clean-up, or they might be adamant that, heck no, not on my watch. So Rose is taking that approach, and although it's taken her a bit more time, that's a lovely clean-up from you, Rose. Well done. Next heat, get organised, please.
Thank you, guys. Heat number 3, Monica Potai, Candy Hiri, Chelsea Collier, and Logan Kamura. So heat number 3.
Just like to mention again, we're streaming this live around the world. The link is www.goldenshears.co.nz. Family and friends that can't be here, send them a text with the link and they can watch it live.
I'll just interrupt there, Tuma, that's okay. Hey, look, can we have the 6 men that have made the individual pressing semi-final? Come and report to this desk here, please, so we can get her underway. Thank you. Over to you, Tuma.
I see you.
I see we've got Uti Mason in the house. Uti Mason, he top qualified into the veteran final last night. I think he's a bit of a burglar. He's still working in the sheds. But good on him. I see Mavis Mullins made their final. Mi'i Nuero. So it's a wonderful event that the Golden Shears has put on, bringing these people back into the circuit, into the game, all being a part of it. We've got Logan Kamura here on table number 4. He was the winner of the pre-shares only a couple of days ago, so he'll be feeling quite confident. Chelsea Collier, she's from Gore. We've got Candy Hiri, she's from Matoda. And Monica Portai from Milton. So if we can have our shearers to the board, our wool handlers are nearly good to go, and we'll keep things ticking along. We've got the green lights. Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go.
And another fine line up here. We have Monica. Monica's no stranger. She's come up through the ranks. She's made a bit of a kick through in the open, especially in the South Island. But Monica, you can put her on any wool type and she'll do the business. Candy's probably a bit the same. Based in the South often, but travels easily up and down, fitting in wherever she can. Chelsea's a bit the same. It's lovely to see these girls making the hikoi up to Golden Shears. Welcome to those who've come from, whether it's down south or offshore. Masterton loves having you here. And of course now we have young Logan Kamura, yes, winner of the pre-shares. I have to say it's probably one of the few wool handling shows that Joel's been to that he hasn't taken that red ribbon. But then Joel's not as current in the workplace every day as he used to be. So, you know, it's fair game. Well done to you, Logan, pushing through on some of these big shows. But as you watch them, you will see they're very deliberate in their actions. They're very thoughtful. They're looking, making very core decisions every step of the way as they prepare that fleece for the throw. The more work they do here, often, hopefully the result is a better result on the table. Let's see.
Well, we've got
Really
some
nice.
lovely throws there, Mavis. Monica Portai, I think, who'd have the best throw. Candy Hiri, she's got a little bit hanging over. Quite a big fleece, that one. Some of these fleeces are really quite bulky. And we've got Chelsea here. She's working her way around the top of the table, pulling out the neck wool. Flicks it over, has a look. It's easier if you can flick the wool over because if there's anything left, it comes up and hits you in the face. But here we go. This wool handler's all running back to the shearer. Shearers are in the undermine. There's 2 or 3 different lines of wool that they get from this area. You got the sock wool, you got the short crutch wool. I see there's been a few dags that have been coming out as well, so these wool handlers, they'll be right on the game with that. Over here, Logan Carmiter works his way around the back of the shearer. He puts 1 foot up on the board, but as long as you've got a foot planted on the ground, you are fine to do that. But Logan Carmiter, he would be the informed horse, Mavis. Would you call him that?
I don't know. He'd be one of them. There's a few of them there that are probably right for, you know, for the taking, and then you've got some of the old school that are not mucking around. They're hanging in there as well. But of those 4 throws, I think I liked Chelsea's throw the best. She actually didn't take as much care with it. It didn't look like it, and it just went bang straight on the table. It was a lovely throw. Here they are now. They've cleaned their tables off. They're back to the board, very carefully looking at the best way to get this one sorted. Pretty nice there, Logan. That was a difficult fleece. For those of you who can see it, it again doesn't have those binders that hold them together, and so it's a bit of almost please let this work, and it did.
Monica Portai, she had a lovely throw as well. Races back up to her shearer. Candy just having a look down here. Candy, her pieces are looking super sharp. She's right on the ball with her shearer. And down here we got Monica Portai. It looks like her fleece is fairly clean, so I'm not sure if she's got much more to do there. But she'll stick with her shearer. She's around behind him, making sure there's no contaminating locks or anything on the board that can interrupt with the main fleece wool. And then she runs back to the table. Here she goes. She's just working away quietly. Fingers working away nicely. She hasn't got big brontosaurus pieces coming off, which is where a lot of these wool handlers can lose the points out the back. Isn't that right, Mavis?
That's right. They can't. They're going to get penalised if they overskirt or underskirt. In other words, if they take too much off the fleece, or if they take too little. So now they're preparing to get themselves organised for this next fleece. You know, these open wool handlers, these are the wool handlers who understand shearing just as much as they understand wool preparation. Let's look at this next throw. Here we go. Oh, I think you've got that one, Logan. What a beautiful throw. Nice down there from you too, Moni. A little bit hanging over for Chelsea and a bit of bunching for Candy, but on the whole, those are lovely throws with very challenging fleeces. What I was saying before is that a gun wool handler at this level understands shearing just as much as they understand wool handling. They understand the pattern of the shearer that they're working with. Does he throw his belly forward or front? Is he quick over the undermine, or does he hold back? Does he get through that front shoulder quickly, which means they've got or slowly, which means they've got more time on their fleece wool. So they are actually masters of not just wool handling, but probably of the shearing pattern as well.
Yes,
you didn't know
right.
that, Toma.
Yes, you did right, Mavis. They know where every little bit of dirty wool comes off, and I think that's a real advantage to have. So you'll see a lot of these wool handlers, a lot of them can get up there and whoop one out on the hour or the last one of the run. And that's how they get to the understanding. But all these shearers turning to the last side, looking at this fleece that's coming off on table number 1, it looks like it's a monster. So Monica, she's going to have to prepare herself for it. I see young Chelsea and Logan, geez, they're really giving it heaps, Mavis.
Yes, they've got, they know that this is the last one. They know that they've got work to do, so they want this to be an easy finish. Here we go, let's see what they can do. Another lovely throw down here, bit of bunching at the top. Chelsea's not too bad. It's not a pretty fleece, but it's all where it should be. Candy, that's lovely. Little bit of overhang from Moni, but nothing that she will be too worried about. The big worry now is to just get around that fleece, get cleaned up, and that broom up.
Watching this Candy Hitty, she's gone around and done a little bit of sweeping underneath her. thing for her at the moment. We got Logan down here on table number 4, roll-up time. Chelsea Collier, she's chasing at him. Bring it on, Logan, let's go. I'm coming with you, buddy. We got Monica Portai, she's got that big fleece, but it looks like she's right in there, right under control. She's rolling up as well. Candy Hoodies is there as well. 1 minute and 10 seconds is the seal time, and these wool handlers are probably coming up to 1 minute already. So these wool handlers, there's no time to tee-toy around. Logan Kamura, brim flat out. We got Chelsea. I think Chelsea might be a little wee bit in front. Candy Hoodie, we'll see if that little bit of sweeping before she attacked her fleece will pay off and really pick her up in that time stakes. But looking down the board.
Time. Nothing much between those two.
Nothing much at all. Candy Hoodie, she was the last one to start skirting her fleece. And I think she's really picked up a lot of time.
Move to the back, please, Chelsea. Thank you.
Time for Mons.
Thank you, guys. We'll just quickly run over the next 2 heats. Heat 4 coming up. Raina Williams, Ida Ratama, Trish Milky and Funi Y Happy. Heat number 5, Kieran Herbert, Dallas Mahadi, Cherie Alabaster, Sarah Higgins.
180 for the Peers final. Yeah, which is today. This morning.
Heat number 6, Marianne Batty, Tina Rimini, Anna Braddock,
170. Okay.
Aramiha
Clear to them, yeah.
Niho, is it? Sorry. It's Niho, thank you. That's heat number 6.
I'd just like to put a special mention out to our shearers, Paddy Mason and his team. They've been shearing here for these wool handlers for quite a long time. And if you haven't learned by now, it pays to say a thank you to these guys, because they will look after you. If you get up there and start trying to growl them like you're in the sheds, they can make things a little bit difficult for you. But we've got Paddy Mason up there. We've got Bodine Hawkins. We've got Sean Edmonds. Sean's been probably here the longest. I think he's been shearing for the wool handlers for, 30 years, is it, Sean? And we've got Casey Bailey. So thank you very much to our shearers. Big ups to you guys for getting here. They don't get paid to do this. So they come here and shear for nothing, and then they go to work through the week and moan about not getting paid enough. But that's just shearers in general. That's just how we roll.
While we're giving some accolades, we might as well mention the judges as well. They're a group of people who have come from the far ends of this country and from Australia. Lovely to have them here. They're all experts in their field. They are untouchable. No good going to them with a putia, any money, or even a Māori bread, because that doesn't work with them. It's been tried.
Cream Powers, I hear.
Cream Powers used to work. But they, again, what a fabulous group of volunteers who come every year to help this show rock.
And we've got another set of judges out the back, Mavis. They're in the dungeon.
Yep, those guys rotate, so you'll see some that have come from the back. They'll come to the front and vice versa. Jo Hopkirk is our chief referee, chief judge for the wool handling. Big job for her, because it's not just about looking after. Okay, so can we just check the names, please, on the boards? So we have down on number 4, Funi. And Amy's not here. Amy Karaka, do we need to fix those up the back? Kapai, they're onto it. We'll get that sorted. That's why the red light's still on. We won't move until that light goes green, and that makes sure that everyone is where they should be.
Are you Carl?
I guess one last thing we could talk about while we wait. No, there we go, Tuma. We've got the light. Let's keep this show rolling.
Okay, shearers to the board. Timekeepers are ready. Shearers, get set, go.
If I can just
Gerald.
interrupt there. Yeah, thanks, Tuma. Hey, we're down here, the individual men's pressing, the semi-final time, folks. 3 heats of this. Once again sponsored, and long-serving sponsors of Farmlands and Woolpacks New Zealand. Timekeepers are ready. Judges ready. Wool pressers, go. So just on the front stand until that first fleece arrives, Tuma, we've got Lou Pawai from Danny Burke. Now he is in the triathlon, but he's managed to make this top 6. Big field here yesterday, we had 20 odd. Probably 6 or 7 of them were first timers. So that is a breath of fresh air. Then over here on the second press, we've got Jeremy Gutcher, your local man. Top qualifier into this event. Rattled the bow out in the heats at 9 minutes 44. No, he didn't. He rattled it out, and yeah, he did too. And Lou was a wee bit behind that. So Lou's going to have to rattle his dags, talking about rattling. So already Jeremy's into the top box, getting those corners tightened up. We'll go back to you now, Tuma, as those fleeces start to arrive.
Yes, Gerald, here we go. We've got Rana Williams on table number 1. She's a bit of favourite of mine. She's our cook in the main share, so I love her to bits. And she's got a good throw, a little bit of bunching. She didn't quite get it to release. We've got Ida here on table number 2. A little bit of bunching up the top here. Mavis, Trish Mookie, you think?
Trish had a pretty good throw there. It landed lovely. Little wee bit of overhang, but nothing to be too worried about. It means she can still find what she needs to find. Funi will be reasonably pleased. That's a big fleece, quite a bit of overhang at the top end, but, you know, I mean, such is life. It was the first fleece, and she'll be making sure, just getting her wits about her in terms of how these fleeces throw, how they're going to be, how she's going to be able to manipulate them to do what she wants them to do. She's a master of that as well. So these wool handlers this heat, again, they know what they're doing. They're used to directing, of being lead hand, of making sure that the preparation is done to the requirements of the farmer. But Trish Mookie, she's taken the lead. She's not only a great wool handler, but she's a great mentor and teacher for a lot of the young ones coming through. She just does it naturally, and she has a very nice, quiet way about her that enables people to learn well. So lovely to see Trish here. But all of these wool handlers, again, this is just what they do. They are teachers. Here we go, Ida. Yeah, nice. Well done. There's some pretty good fleeces there, some overhang, and again, that's those loose binders, just not blinking, allowing it to happen. We had Funi down the end here. She's going, is that yellow or what? But no, she's made her call. And that's another part of it. The decision making has to be pretty instant, and you've got to be able to know and have the confidence in your own knowledge to make those calls and to live with them. And she's done that.
Yeah, I'm down here watching Rana Williams. She's working away with her shear. He's on the undermine, just taking the top knot off. I see that like the first 2 sheep that she's had, they've both had dags. So these wool handlers are really getting tested. There's a lot that's around the fertiliser work, which is around the bottom of the sheep. Wairarapa, roll up time for her. She had a good fleece. Very happy with her decision to just skirt the points and run back to her shearer. So that gives her a little bit of time to work along, set this next fleece up so it lands perfectly. Trish Mookie down here on table number 3 runs back to her shearer. So these wool handlers, they are really getting tested. They are working away with their shearer. It's all about the setup. If your setup is good, well then hopefully the throw will be good. But shearer's working down the last side here. Rana's right there as well. She's setting up her fleece. see how Ida handles this fleece. Rana throws, a little bit of bunching, but most of it's on the table. These fleeces, yes, as they say, the binders are not binding. Well, they're binding a little bit, but not a lot. We got Ida here. She's got the mouth open, tongue going. She's a full concentration. Trish Mookie down here on table number 3, working her way around the table. Fingers just grabbing what they need to. A lot of these wool handlers, sometimes when they're skirting, they seem to hang on to the pieces and they end up over skirting. So it pays to try and get rid of it as soon as you can. But here we go, shearers into the undermine. This is the 4th sheep on the board, so these wool handlers, they'll be thinking about the cleanup.
They will be thinking about that cleanup, and you can see a little bit more urgency as they take that final sweep along the board to try and clear as much as they can. But again, it's back to the fleece, because that is going to be judged out the back by 2 expert judges who know exactly what they're looking for. They're going to make sure that there's no faults left in that fleece. But yes, Ida, she's pretty smart on that fleece. She's able to get around it very quickly. She seems to be the first one who can get rid of that fleece off the table and back to that shearer to set up. And you know what? These fleeces need it. They are challenging. You can see with Ida again up there, she's having to do a lot of work just to get it all really placed well. Very good throw. Little bit of bunching, but she couldn't throw it too hard. That had nothing in it. Nice one, Moni. Nice one, Trish. Let's go, Funi. Yeah, nice. Bit of overhang, bunching, but again, you can't throw these fleeces with any force, because you'll lose it into the front seats if you did that. So they're being very careful.
Rana Williams, she's got a good fleece here. I think the best for last. So she knows she needs to move it, because Trish Mookie down there on table number 3, rolling up. We got Ida. Ida's walking around the table, big smile on her face. She's happy. Come on, Ida, you got no time to be happy. Get the brim in hand and get the bling and wool in the fadge. Rana Williams puts her last one in. Nice, tight, compact roll. Picks up the table, throws it down. Any little bits of wool stuck in between the grating and the table, wool should have fallen through. But here we go, all these wool handlers, Mavis, these wool handlers, they're pretty much neck and neck.
They sure are. They're doing the work that they can do. I'll tell you what, though, I bet you they are also very mindful that at the back they can hear a press going as well, because that's their job. But there they are, just doing those final touches. Yes, Rana. Yes, Trish. That's good, Ida. Not a lot in it with these young, well, not young, well, they are young compared to some of us, but to these wool handlers actually really working to get things finished off. Well done, Funi. You might have seen her use that last basket. If you've got piles of wool on the board and your baskets haven't been full, if you've got an empty basket, you will be penalised. So, you know, they're very mindful, looking around, just making sure everything's in order. Well done, team. Back to you, Gerald.
Thank you, Mavis. Well, it's been poetry in motion down here. Jeremy Goodcher. He knows where everything is sitting, brooms, the likes, and he's just toiling away there. He's got his blinkers on. He is highly focused here this morning. He knows well and truly there's his reputation before him, and he's got one. If you look at these honour boards here, it goes back for a huge number of years now, where he has performed at his best up under the bright lights on Friday. He wants to be there again. It's looking good at this stage. What's the running time here? 8:45. Good steady pace. Banged out a bail. He's targeting the 160 yesterday and banged out a 163.5. Lou, who's in the triathlon over here and has managed to make the semis, thinking, oh gee, I've sat in the back rows and watched Jeremy Goodger and admired his ability, and here I am right with him now trying to draft him, but he's taken off up the hill and round the corner and he's out of sight. Let's go, Lou. Get into her, mate. That's it. He's starting to get some sweat. It looks easy sitting back there in the seats, folks, but they are giving it everything they have got really here. It's semi-final time. We've got the top 6. And we've unfortunately got to cut them down to 2 for the bright lights and a full house here. Jeremy Goodger starting to tie it down now, under the watchful eye of the judge. He's looking for technique, he's looking for safety, tidiness, and eventually bale weight, the branding, lots and lots of technical aspects to pressing a bale wool. Come on, Lou. You've got some help from the audience. Go, Lou. Give it everything you got, mate. Your ducks may be lined up. You've got a bit of shearing to do today too. Round comes the top box, but it's the pins are just about, or the clips, more the point for Jeremy's just about wrapped up. Last and finishing sort of touches there. Lou's thinking, I done a bale in 15 minutes yesterday, 10 minutes. He's well paced, isn't he? Well paced. Out with the pins, open with the door. Look at all that, one emotion, not even a thought involved. The subconscious behaviour of doing this as a professional. Presser all around the world, mainly New Zealand and Australia. Jeremy Goodger on show once again at the Golden Shears. The last little tidy up. 10:42. Are you happy? Masterton, give him a round of applause. Jeremy Goodger is back in the house.
Quick, our shearers to the board. Shearers to the board. You right, Sean? Lee? Sean the sheep, I meant. Okay, timekeeper's ready. We got the green light. Shearers, get set, go. Forgot my cousin's name. I'm going to get a hiding after this.
Thanks, Tuma. Can we just, we'll just announce heat number 7, Pagan Kararuna, Kimberly Braddock, Brittany Tibble, Panya Iriha. That's heat number 7. Heat number 6 has been announced.
Thank you for that, Greg. Yes, here we're back into the Woolhandling Open heats. Heat number 5. Great to watch these practitioners as they work their way through, but I'll tell you what, it was fabulous to watch that pressing semi-final as well. Jeremy Goodger just cruises through that. Louis, he just gets through every time. So, you know, go backwards and forwards. There's a lot going on, but let's get back to the wool handling. This is a pretty smart looking heat. So we've got 2 world champions in here in this heat with Kieran Herbert, no introduction. Cherie Alabaster, no introduction. They've been around for a fair while. They know how everything rolls. And do you know what? They'll be having their eyes very, very firmly on France for next year. We've got Dallas Mahaide. Dallas does everything. She's another one of these wool handlers that ensures in the workplace everything goes well. Let's get this first throw on the table. Yes. Beautiful throws. Beautiful throws. Difficult fleeces, beautiful throws. Well done for this heat. Looks fantastic. Sarah Higgins, I briefly stopped in to watch some of the speed shear last night, and someone was saying she's just flown into New Zealand. So wherever you've been, Sarah, lovely to have you back here. She's no stranger to Golden Shears. She's come up through the ranks in the shearing mainly, but also in the wool handling. And here she is now in these open heats.
We got Kieran Herbert down here on stand number 1. She's working away with her shearer. She's got quite a nice fleece there. I think she'll be getting rid of that fleece ASAP. And she's working away with her shearer, cleaning up around the head, getting that cheek wool, fribbing the belly. Judge, get out of the road, Judge. You'll get run over. Here we go, Kieran, back to her fleece. 1 step and she's at the top of the table. We got Dallas Mihaide from Dannyvirk. Love it, Dallas, Dannyvirk. That's where you come from. And we got Cherie Alabaster from Tai Happy. Cherie, she's been doing very, very well in the North Island, cleaning up most of the shows that she's been to this year. Had a heck of a good season. And on table number 4, we have Sarah Higgins. I hear that she's just come back from somewhere on the aeroplane, probably the South Island, but that's a plane ride, isn't it? But here we go. Wool shearers coming down the last side. wool handlers working away with them. Here we go, Kieran Herbert, she's going to be the first to turn, throws, pulls it back, you beauty. Dallas Mihide and Shriela Basta, they turn, throw. Sarah Higgins, Mavis, that throw doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, not too bad from Sarah. A little bit of overhang, just a bit of bunching. Quite a nice fleece. Probably wasted a little bit of that, Sarah, but she'll be giving herself a kick and thinking, well, I won't do that on the next one. Cherie was probably a little bit like that as well. That was a difficult one, but she managed to get that mainly on the table. Look, these are very difficult fleeces if you're watching. They're not the easiest, and some of them are quite bulky. So if they're not falling apart, then they really are kind of big, bulky, and don't like to sit easily on a table.
Cherie Alabasta, she's working away with her shearer. She's starting to get that red glow that we see from her. She's been a world champion. She won the world championship in Norway a few years ago, and she knows what it takes to win these big shows, these big events. We got Sarah Higgins, table number 4. She's fribbing the belly a little wee bit unorthodox, but the frib has been done. Dallas Mihide, nice tight compact roll there. That judge will be struggling to find anything there. Kieran Herbert, she's just doing a few housekeeping jobs already. I think she's sort of having a look around and sees something that's not quite right. If something's not quite right, she's dealing with it straight away. But here we go, we got the third fleece about to hit the tables. Kieran Herbert, she's got a nice setup there. Nicely squeezed that fleece in, pulls it back. Beautiful, Mavis.
Beautiful, all right, lovely. Lovely to watch, lovely to see. Be a pleasure to work in the wool sheds with these women as these fleeces hit the table like this. It's interesting when you watch Kieran. She's a very strong competitor, almost aggressive in the way she attacks the job in front of her, whereas you get down this end, you've got Cherie and Sarah, much more passive, a lot quieter in their approach. You know, it depends what works for you. Dallas, she's a little bit in the middle. She can be passive-aggressive, actually, with the way she attacks the job in front of her. But beautiful fleeces, back to the shearers, making sure that all that housework is tidied up in preparation for that next throw.
Yes, Mavis, I really like the way that you explained that, how Kieran is an aggressive wool handler, because she is. She's got the bit between her teeth, and she really looks like she's like, ripping those fibres in half nearly. Dallas Mihide, roll up time for her. Kieran Herbert, she just gets back to her shearer. Cherie Alabasta turns around, runs back, grabs the cheek wool. This is the fourth fleece, so these wool handlers, they really need to be on their game. Make sure everything's bang on, because 1 minute and 10 seconds is the seal time. Not a lot of time for these wool handlers, so the cleanup is got to be one of those things that's got to be bang on as well. A lot of pressure on these wool handlers to do the right thing. But here we go, Cherie Alabasta, she turns. Lovely throws.
Lovely throw. Oh, that's well done, Sarah. I could see you agonising over that setup as you tried to get that exactly how you wanted it. Not too bad, well done. But yes, you can't take it away from Cherie. She certainly laid that out really well. And again, we've talked a little bit about Karen and the way she approaches this work. Not only is she aggressive in attacking the fleece and just doing what needs to be done, but look how thoughtful and meaningful she is with that setup and her preparation for the finish. That fleece has caused her a bit of angst. There's some stuff there that she probably would have preferred wasn't, causing her to have to work a bit harder. But Cherie is on the ball. She's got that broom out. She's making it happen. She's done a lot of pre-work as well, so you can expect that she will try to ensure that this finishes reasonably quick.
Kieran Herbert, she pushed the table over, get out of the road table, just to give herself a bit of room. There's there's not a lot of room when you've got all these baskets full of wool all around the place. She's down on her hands and Cherie. Kieran Herbert, she'll have another look around and make sure she's happy. She's been New Zealand representative. She's been at the top of her game. There we go. Time for Kieran.
And Dallas. So you can see Sarah's just taking those last few minutes to get those locks and second pieces sorted through.
Yeah, wool handlers come to the front of the board once you've put your hand up.
Good for time, Sarah. Well done. How did that last heat end up, Gerald?
Yes, she was a good heat, Mavis. The bale weights might be a wee bit disappointing for them. Lou battled away and managed to get the bale on the floor and eventually on the scales with a 141 with a target weight of 160. And our man Jeremy Goodshire fell a wee bit short as well with a 154.5. Okay, so lots of points tied up and around here, and probably the most penalties you can get is on here, especially in a lighter bale. Okay, it means you haven't had to cart so much in, so lots of points tied up around here. So Jeremy will be just crossing his fingers and toes at this stage as another top 4 competitors have to arrive on this stage here and compete for those 2 top spots. One being Jono right now, and Vinny Goodyear as well, our current reigning champion here at the Golden Shears. Are our judges ready? We could probably get this underway. Are you right, Jono? Vinny, are you all good to go? Masterton's ready, I know that. In that case, timekeepers are ready, judges ready. Presses, on your master set, go. Right, we're back at it. So pins in all these different styles. You've got their own pattern. In this case, Jono has taken to the branding, okay? Jono, a full-time school teacher. He's been competing here. He has made it under the bright lights there in the big final a couple, 3 years ago. And but he doesn't do a lot of pressing. He's a full-time teacher, as I'm saying, and I think this will be 3rd bale or 4th bale in the last 2 years. Vinny here grabs a big handful of wool. Did you see that, folks? Look at that, just about filled the whole top box up. Stuffs it down with that big wingspan that he's got. He just drives it into those corners.
Excuse me, Gerald. Can we have our shearers to the board? We've got the green light. I'll just get these guys started, Gerald, and we come straight back to you. Timekeepers are ready. Shearers, get set, go. Okay, back to you, Gerald.
Done job, cheers, Tuma. Yeah, there's wool rattling around here. The pressure's starting to come on. They see a wee glimpse of hope here, thinking, well, the master blaster, Jeremy, might have left the door half open for them. And they're going for it. The wool is pouring in. The 2 quickest times from the heat and the 2 top qualifiers were the Goodyear brothers, hitting around that 9-minute mark. The next 4 were actually taking 15-odd minutes. So there is 1 point every 20 seconds, so Jono's got to be on to that. He was a 15-minute or a 14-minute man. He's got to nail it. He's got to work really hard. So if you're sitting in the audience and Jono's your man, you got your money on him, you better get him behind him and say, come on, Jono. You'll get the feel of the weight, mate, but you've got to get that wool in the press. He puts another big pile in. Vinny says, okay, I've got my name on the board. And here it goes again. Once again, your reputation before you won't carry you up there this year. Tucks it all away. He's going to go in for a huge big load as well. Pushes those corners. He knows that the judges are going to look at this bale and wants a nice square bale. Here Vinny goes. Look at him knitting it all together. Bundling it, tying it in knots. He must have been a scout when he was a young fella. Oh, look at that. Wow. Just half the bottom box in one big bundle. Here he goes again, a big fisherman's knot. Tying it all together. Look at the wingspan on this boy. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, back to you, Tuma, as the fleeces start hitting the tables.
Yes, they've certainly hit the tables, and as we would expect from a lineup that we have here, some beautiful throws that have been executed. Fantastic throw from Marianne Beatty, another one who has really done a lot of work in the last couple of years, been a New Zealand representative and recognised at the Māori Sports Awards. Her daughter competed yesterday, so you know these things really do stay in the family. But she's back to the board, making sure everything's done right. And of course, next to her, Tina Remene, master wool handler, a world representative for New Zealand as well, a team member in a winning world team with Whanaunga Joanne Kumaro, now passed, but Tina was right there with her as they both worked their magic in a number of countries throughout the world. Then we have young Anna Braddock. Now Anna's she's come up through the ranks, started from the junior, worked her way up and been a very fierce competitor all the way through. So lovely to have you back here, Anna. We've missed seeing you through this season. And down here on table number 4, we have Edemiha Neho from Dannevirke. We all affectionately know him as Boy. Most people do. Here's these throws. Yay. Beautiful throws coming through. Come on, Tina, what have you got for us? Squeezing it up. Yes. Beautiful throws, difficult fleeces. We keep saying that, but that's exactly how it is. And again, you can look at the different styles that these wool handlers, how they operate. You know, you do have that aggressive style where you just attack the whole thing, and then you might have those who just quietly work their way around. You never know they're coming, but you can see it all here. Back to the board. Where are you, Toma?
I'm down here watching Marianne Beatty. She's right there with her shearer. She's got a nice, looks like a fairly clean fleece up on the table at the moment. I think you're right, these the lights are not really bringing out, you know, the real yellow in these fleeces. Some of them are really looking quite yellow. That fleece that Marianne has got is a beauty. We've got Tina Remene. She's working away. I think there's a lot of work in that last fleece, because she was right there when her shearer dropped. She had to run back. And we've got Boy Neho down here on table number 4. Roll up time, nice, tight, compact. And he'll run back to his shearers. So these shearers are shearing along well. Wool handlers, a lot of pressure on them at the moment. And we've got some masters up here. Current team member down here on table number 1. Let's see how she handles this fleece. Looks like it's going to be a good one. Well done, beautiful throw, floats it over. Tina Remene, she places the top and then pulls it back. A few of these wool handlers have been doing that, Mavis. They're kind of aiming for the top of the table, then pulling the fleeces back.
Yeah, and that's because there's just none of those binders. It's been such a good season that there's no weak fibres in this wool. They're all very strong, so there's nothing that they weave through the fleeces to hold together. So you can't give a big heave or throw with these fleeces. They do have to be carefully placed. Aim for the top of the table and pull back. And of course that seems to be working very successfully for most of these wool handlers in this open grade. You were talking about the yellow down there with that Marianne had. Now these competitors in this open grade, I would expect them to know, regardless of what the light is, the level of yellow that's in these fleeces. These wool handlers have been at this for a fair while. They should have the experience. They should be able to see it regardless of what the light is. And I wouldn't expect that from the novice or the juniors, but certainly from this grade, no excuse. So a great job done. We've got fleeces off the table for Marianne and for Boy, who are working diligently to get this tidy up. He's doing a bit of work, hopefully not at the expense of a setup. But he's looked at that fleece, he says, oh no, that's my lolly, that one, I can do that easy. Let's see if he can.
Lovely throw down here on table 1. Lovely throw on table 3. Ooh, got a little bit trapped underneath on table 2. 1 minute 10 seconds. Marianne Beatty here from Gisborne, the old Gizzy Bro area, working away profusely. Oh, she's got a pretty good fleece. Not a lot of pieces on there, but you still really need to go there anyway. And you got to have a look. Don't just take it for granted. Tina Domini down here on table number 2, working away. That looks like a fairly clean fleece as well, so she'll be whipping out that fleece in no time. We got young Anna Braddock there on table number 3, roll up time. The young gun's taking it to the Mavis.
Yep, sure is, and same with Boy down the end here. He would have been a bit annoyed at that front leg coming off that table, but then that's something to work on for the next time. But yes, broom in hand for 3, and I'll tell you what, Marianne's often a very quick finisher as well, so let's see who's been the most organised through these 4 sheep. Working hard, working diligently, working smart, trying to use the air with their broom to get all those bits without making too much of a mess. Not far away now, you can just feel that they're getting ready. Yes, hands up for Marianne and Boy. Same for Anna. Tina's not far away either, she's done a lot of work. Down the end of the tables, please, when you've finished. Thank you. Come on, Tina. Come on. Yay. Well done. Great heat.
Thanks, guys. Could I just quickly open Woolhandling heat number 8. 3 in this one. Kushla Abraham, Sophie Huff, Penny Kitty. Thank you, Gerald.
Yeah, cheers, Greg. Right, action apiece again. Vinny working away there. What's the time, my dear? In around 9-10 minutes, just hitting right now with the time there yesterday. Very similar. Steady as she goes. Every bale's the same time. Well done, Vinny. Jono with those quick little steps. Well balanced because he's got those feet close together all the time as he sort of tiptoes around the place. He'll be thinking, oh, 2 to 3 bales a season, I'm not keeping fit for this. You can be fit for all sorts of sports and physical education, but when it comes to shearing, it's a special fitness. When it comes to pressing, it's a special fitness. Those big trunk muscles up the back now will be sucking some juice as he's leaning on that baby, and he's got lots of muscles to full. He says, right, been there, done that. He's given up breathing through the nose. He's got his mouth wide open, trying to suck some air in, get some oxygen into those lungs. Smoke-free stadium for that reason. Down the top box comes. He's got the area reasonably tidy and clean. 10 minutes. Keep it going, Jonah. He's got the support crew right beside him. Go, go, look at the little steps that he takes. He'll be thinking, I've got to get ahead. I know it did take me 15 odd minutes that first round. I've got to save some of those time points. Even with a very exact weight here, every point will count in a semi-final. He lines it up, takes a view and says, right, boom, 1. What's today, Friday? He's got taken 2 days off school to come and support this event once again. He has been here for numerous years. He's been in and up here with all his family members and the peers. His father and him had to go here last year. John and Jono. But it's Jono on his own at the moment. He's just got to carry the torch all by himself. Get it through there, Jono. Big hunger wool with it. We all good, Tuma? Okay, we'll leave Jono to his work.
Thank you, Gerald. Can we have our shearers to the board? Lee?
Just quickly calling all senior shearers, please come to the desk and pick your singlets up and register in, thank you. All
3.
senior shearers. We're running towards the end now of the open wool handling. 3 heats to go.
Brittany Tibble. Okay, Gerald, we're going to get this started. Brittany's very lucky. She had her bin set up by another master wool handler. Okay, timekeepers are ready. Shearers, get set, go. Back to you, Gerald.
Good work, thanks, Tuma. The mouth is wide open now. He's sucking some juice. He'll be getting all their support from his students back the way. They could be live streaming, and we are on the live stream too at this stage. Come on, Jono, you've been beamed around the world. Give it everything you got. Get those twinkle toes of yours going. Look at him go. He keeps a good balance because he's just twinkly toeing his way around this press. Now into the staples. 4. Come on, Masterton, you're with him. He's supporting your community by turning up at the Golden Shears. He does. He's no professional. He is a professional school teacher, preparing our young people for representing New Zealand in a fine old way. But here he is. He's going to represent himself really well. That's that one done. Some more clips, Jono. Go, go, go. We're going to stay with you until these fleeces fly. Absorb the pressure. Stay with it. Keep your ducks lined up, Jono. The mouth is wide open. The running time now is 14.5 minutes. He's been giving it everything he's got. And now the shoulders are starting to glisten. The forehead is starting to glisten. It won't be long before he's got beads of sweat starting to arrive on the body. Let's go, Jono. The fleece is arriving. I'll go back there, Tuma.
Yes, thank you very much, Gerald. Well, we've got young Kimberly Braddock on here. She fired that neck ball straight at the end of the table like a missile. It looked very, very impressive. We've got Pagan Kurodia here on table number 1. Pagan is one of the informed horses, one to look out for. Young Kimberly, here she is. She's got a couple of different lines of wool there already. And down here on table 3, we have young Brittany Tibble. Brittany, she was a little bit rushed to get up, which is probably not a bad thing. It saves her from being so nervous. But Kimberly Braddock, all these wool handlers back at the shearers, they will stay there as they work around the head to get that cheek wool. It's got a hollow fibre. It doesn't accept any dye, so you can't colour it. So that goes into a separate basket. We've got 9 different baskets around these, around this table, and every one of these baskets should be at least one line of wool. We've got frib wool, we've got sock wool, we've got short wool. There's been a little bit of dags coming through. We've got neck wool. We've got the pieces. So that's what these wool handlers need to do. They are actually processing these fleeces, adding value to the farmer. Gerald, sorry, how's our mate going?
He's just wrapped, Jono, about to remove the singlet. 16 minutes, Masterton, he has given it everything he possibly could. What do you think there, Jono? What are you thinking to your bail? You're going for the 160. What a great effort, mate. Thanks for turning up the Golden Shears again and supporting us like you do. Yeah, how do you think you went in general?
Picking it might be mid-160s, maybe a bit heavy. And the clips on tops are, yeah, less than ideal. But not too bad.
Good work. Thanks, Jono. All the very best. Good luck.
So back to the wool handler we come. There's some beautiful throws that have been placed on these tables. Excellent work by these wool handlers as they work through the program in front of them. Brittany's one who's come up through the ranks. I'm pretty sure she's graced this stage as a senior wool handler. So fantastic to see her coming back up as an open. And she'll do herself proud here. She'll do herself very proud. And down the end on stand or table number 1, Pagan needs no introduction. She is an accomplished wool handler, a very accomplished shearer. Great genetics with the Remenez and the Morels. They're certainly household names in this sector, and Pagan's taking that to the next level. And then we've got Kimberly Braddock. I mean, that's certainly a name in these parts that is no stranger to the shearing world. As shearing contractors, as wool handlers and shearers, these are all very familiar names. Great to have them here. Let's see how they're going to go for this last throw. Beautiful throws. They're getting the middle or the bulk of the fleece on the table. It's the edges. It's where those points are, that belly, where the belly wall's been stretched out, and it is, you know, I think these tables are just getting too small. What do you think, Tom? He's not thinking, he's talking to Greg, so we'll just keep on going here at the moment. Beautiful wool, back to the undermine. As it's been said, there's a lot of work that goes on in there. There's short wool, there's Kemp fibres. I haven't seen the dag, I'm at the wrong end of the board to see that, but they tell me there's that. There's short wool, there's coloured wool, and all of those processing faults need to be separated out. So they're doing a very, very good job of keeping all of that sorted. Back to the table, keeping it going.
Just while we've got a wee gap there, Mavis, I'd just like to... We've had Vinny up here before, Vinny Goodcher. Now our target bale weight was 160. Now Vinny Goodcher, your reigning champion here at the Golden Shears, 161.5. So a sensational effort there, Vinny. John O'Hicks with the slower time, but he really nailed it. And he thought it was a 165 bale, and it was a 165 bale. So congratulations to you two. Got two more heats. No, one more heat to go. Ash boys, so you dot around in the stadium, please. Come over to the precinct.
Just a call for all senior shearers, please. All senior shearers, there's 3 heats of the open wool handling left, but we want you to register in at the desk, please.
Okay, so while they're preparing for the next heat in the pressing, we've got the last clean-up for this heat 7 of the open wool handling heats. This is when there's no mucking around, there's energy, there's pace. It all has to happen here because it is about the time. It is about how efficient they are, how well they've planned. Look at those cleanups, looking pretty good from up here. Yes, time for Pagan. Great run, Pagan. If we can ask you to move to the bottom of the board, that would be very much appreciated. Thank you, Kimberly. Well done. Just waiting for Brittany. She's got it sorted as well. Yes. Well done, team. If we can get the next heat organised, please. Let's keep it rolling. And back to the pressing. Gerald, I know you're not shy to come in when you need to. Just make it happen. It's quite an interesting time when we're sharing airspace between the pressing and the wool handling. And I have to say, the wool handling is, we've always been pretty pushy with the airtime. So if we get too much, I'm sure Gerald's not shy to butt in and make sure that our presses get the right amount of exposure as we go through these heats.
Just heat 9, Mavis, the 3 in heat 9 as well. Rose Keenan, Samantha Gordon and Aria Mullins. Amy Karaka. Amy, I presume you're not here. You haven't showed up, so your name will be taken off the list. And of course, the last heat, heat 10, Jamie McLean, Carmen Smith, and Melanie Morris. Maxine Pui is not here, I believe. So the next few heats, there will be 3 competitors competing.
Yeah, there was an apology from Amy. There was other urgent whānau matters that came up for her, so
okay, just jumping there, Mavis. Ash, boys, so you dot about. Ash, this is an ASAP call now. Ash, boys, it is your final call. Otherwise, we'll have to drop someone else in here. This is the semi-final of the individual men's pressing. Ash, you dot about, otherwise we'll have to drop down. Oh, you.
All senior shearers, please. We've had
Conan.
quite a bunch come up, but if there's any more out there, all senior shearers, please register in for your singlet.
All right. Conan Gray or Ricky Stevens?
Okay, we got the green light for the wool handling. Could we have our shearers to the board?
We've got a green light, Toma. Let's get them going.
Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. Well, on table number 1, we have a local lady, Kushla Abraham. She's come up through the ranks, Mavis. She's started off in the novice. Very, very good family of competitors. Her and her partner, they run a little online thing with their live streaming, Shared Talk, and they travel around the country. Pairata is a very good shearer. That's her partner, right up there in the speed shears. He got a little bit unlucky by an old boy last night, but that's just the way it goes. Like, that's just how it works. And on table number 2, we have Sophie Hoof from Australia. She's one of the Australian representatives. She was at the pre-shares the other day, and she was actually part of the team that came here last year. They didn't do so well, so they're hoping to go a little better this year. So good luck to Sophie. And on table number 3, we have Penny Kitty from Gisborne, Mavis.
Yeah, thanks, Toma. Look, could we just make an announcement? There was a phone sitting down here where I'm standing on the bleachers that has been removed. If you've removed it by accident or mistake, please either pass it in to Greg Herrick over at the announcers or return it over here. Thank you very much. All right, we might keep asking. First throws, lovely from Kushla, little bit hanging. Nice from Sophie, not bad from Penny Kitty. That was a difficult one. You can see, you can tell. Okay, phone has been found. Thank you very much. So here we go. Kushla's gone around that first side of her fleece already. She's back to the belly wool. As Thomas said, her and Pairata have done some innovative things over the last little while, as well as increase their family. So busy young parents doing amazing things. That's very cool. And then we have Sophie. Sophie is a representative for Australia, and we'll be seeing a lot more of her in the test over the next, I think that might be tonight, or is it tomorrow? But these Australians, they are fabulous competitors, whether it's rugby, cricket or shearing and wool handling, they're right in amongst it. Give as good as they get every time a coconut, and that we wouldn't have it any other way. And Penny, well, everybody knows and loves Penny. She hickoys up and down the country, all over the place. And again, another one of these who's always prepared to take a learner under her wing, long as they've got ears. And she'll give them everything that they need to improve and be the best they can be. Yes, some great fleeces being thrown there. We've talked a little bit about the throws and why they're important. Isn't that right, Tom?
That's dead right, Mavis. These throws are so important. If the throw is good, a lot of times the oddment wool, or the wool that they are skirting out, will be right along the edge of the table. You know, you're not having to lift the fleece up and have a look underneath for the pieces, or, you know, it's not hanging on the ground. And plus they get penalised. There's a page in our little book here, our little diary book, and it says judging in a nutshell. So if you're really quite interested in learning, you know, like just seeing how these judges really judge, it's all in the program. So go get yourselves a program. It's on page 24. And at the moment, these wool handlers, they're working away with their shearer. Once the shearer goes around the back of the head, they'll get that little bit of wool, put it in with the modulated fibre bin, and then they'll run back to their fleece. We've got young Sophie Hoof here on table number 2. Runs back to her shearer, grabs that cheek wool, that's that hollow fibre that we were talking about earlier. That goes into one separate basket. And then she's got to get back and roll up her fleece. Kush Abraham here on table number 1, a little wee bit behind. Come on, Kush. Keep it going. We've got another fleece about. to hit the table. There she goes, runs back to her shearer, Mavis.
Yes, these shearers are shearing for open competitors. They will not wait. They have been instructed. They have to come on out. That can make it tough if you get behind. And Kushla just spent a little bit, probably a little bit more time than she would have liked on that last fleece, which has the impact of then stopping her getting back to prepare for that pick up and throw. But, you know, look at that throw. Look at that fleece on the table. There's nothing wrong with that. She was able to handle that really well. We just want to welcome and say hi to those schools that are visiting during the day. We've just seen, looks like a local, might have been one of the local boys' schools, right. Rathkeel or Hadlow, not sure, but have now gone out to the back.
All right, thanks, Mavis. We'll just get this last semi-final going in the individual men's pressing. You right, Tui? Right. Press number one down this end, we have Ricky Stevens. Now, we can call him a wild card. He actually was placed 8th, but one of the ones prior to that has not turned or showed up today, which is unusual. So he is in. So it's his chance. And Tui Hyde from Gisborne here. Timekeepers are ready. Judges ready. Pressers, on your marks, get set, go. Right. One is placed 7th and 8th, really. There are 6th and 8th. So unusual things can happen in the shearing competitions, whether it's be wool handling or pressing or shearing of the sheep. When you have no pressure on yourself, when you don't have to hold the top spot, and you're just out there and you're relaxed, you're not all pumped up, you're not nervous, you think, well, I've got a second chance. And you go and give it everything you got, and it can turn out all good. Like the golden touches, Ricky Stevens says, hey, yeah, it could be my time. My ducks feel like they're lined up. He hasn't had time to get nervous. He's arrived, we've spotted him and said, you are the next man. Are you willing to step up? You got a singlet? Yeah, we've got a singlet, mate. You throw that on, and you're ready to go. Tui. Look at that, he's got a big support system out here. Can we hear it? Let's get a bit of a chant going for Tui. This is semi-final time. These two young characters here are up here mainly for the triathlon, okay, which involves being able to be a multitasking man. I've been able to shear a sheep. I've been able to sort the wool and be a wool handler. I've been able to come up here and be a presser. Multitasking, multi-skilled men. As Ricky Stevens starts his knotting it together, and he's got his face buried in the wool. Look at that, folks. That is a huge armful. Heaps of Ks. You've got to get those knees bent right down. As Tui starts clambering up. Top box, he says. It's full now. This is very difficult, this pressing thing.
Well done. Well
and
done.
I know you'll look and say, or listen and say, it can't be that hard. You're just sort of just sitting and squashing and you know, patting away with your feet. If we had an experiment and put you up here and threw you in there within 5 or 6 of those big stomps, you'll be saying, where has my energy gone? It just sucks it out of you. I don't know how or why, but it does. Every presser knows about it. Right, the top boxes. Locked and loaded. Caps are on. These two trying to go for one of the 2 spots. The first event for Friday
night.
night.
Premier shearing and wool handling competition. The Golden Shears is used to having famous people coming in for a look, and 2018 is no different. I'm very pleased to have with me here Hilary Barry, of course, no stranger to viewers at home, the host of 7 Sharp. And of course, for those local viewers, they'll recognise Hilary from her days here in Masterton. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. It's delightful to be here. It's a long time since I've been at the Golden Shears. I was trying to work it out before. It must be about 25 years since I was the cub reporter down at 2ZD, Radio Wairarapa, and used to love coming along to Golden Shears, good because I'd always get a few good stories here. And it's super to be back. There's no live streaming back then, Kieran.
No, there probably wouldn't have even been mobile phones back then, would there?
No, back in the old days.
Just for a bit of context, I think I was 7 at the time. But
way to make me feel old.
So this is where it all started for you, back in Masterton.
Yeah, it was.
The first job.
It really was, and I loved living in Masterton. We lived out in Gladstone. I lived various places, Carterton and Gladstone, and I love being part of the local community. I met so many great people. It was a sad day when I left. She was a good farewell party.
I can imagine.
She was a good farewell party. But no, it's great to be back. Oh my God, it's changed so much.
I bet. So what brought you back here this year then?
Well, we wanted to focus on the women in shearing.
Good on you.
Because I know there are a lot more women who are taking part in the events, and it just sort of strikes me that when you think about huge sporting events, it's quite rare that the women and men are competing directly against each other,
right.
that there's no sort of gender-specific events other than some of the wool handling ones, but for the shearing itself. So we're coming here to focus on Laura Bradley, who's just about to start.
Yeah.
So we'll see how she goes and have a chat to her, and we've been talking to Jules, who is, obviously a total legend in the world of women's shearing as well. Just about how it's changed, how tough it used to be being a woman in shearing, and how many more women are involved, and how accepting everybody is of that. That nobody considers themselves to be a male shearer or a female shearer. They're just shearers.
Well, it's a bit of a trend at the moment. The women's sport is growing in popularity and exposure. Sponsors are getting behind it, and the TV's covering it as well. But you're right, there aren't many sports where women compete alongside men and do so in a competitive fashion.
Yeah.
And I can think of equestrian, and we've had the Winter Olympics recently, and I think curling was another one.
Yeah,
But
right.
certainly here, how wonderful would it be to see more women continue up the ranks and one day hopefully win the Golden Shears Open final?
Oh, be absolutely fantastic. And I mean, we are the best shearers in the world, aren't we?
Yeah.
So how fantastic that we could have a world champion woman as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and of course, there's one thing you might not know is that, the Golden Shears has been going on for 58 years. We've never once had a Wairarapa shearer win the Golden Shears. So,
I did not know that.
I know. It's amazing really to think that, this is the home of shearing in the world. This is where it all started, and we've never had a local win the Golden Shears. So we're hoping this year that we do get a Wairarapa shearer take out the title, and hopefully then on the back of that we might have not only a woman but a local woman take it out.
Who's your money on? I know you're not a betting man.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. I honestly, I don't think you can go past Roland Smith this year, to be honest. The bloke's won 36 titles since January 2017. He's only dipped out once, and that was about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure even those that might not have exposure to the Golden Shears, I know you're a bit of an aficionado now from your early days, but
yeah. No, it's. I mean, the physicality of it is amazing. It really is, and even just just watching a bit of it now, it's quite mesmerising watching the rhythm of a good shearer, because it's incredibly graceful too.
It is.
It's a beautiful sport.
Well, the good thing about it, of course, those that are watching at home will know it's not just about speed. You've got to do it cleanly as well. And so to be able to do it that quickly in about 20 seconds shearing a sheep, but doing it so that the welfare of the animal is maintained and the integrity of the fleece is maintained as well, it certainly is a skill. So what would you say to those people that are watching at home that maybe have never come to the Golden Shears? Do you think they should just take the plunge and experience it?
Totes. It's fantastic. I mean, there are spare seats, not many. It's filling up. You should definitely get down here, because it's something to behold. It is a wonderful sporting event, but also that you can get so close to the action. And there aren't many sort of sports where you can do that. You can get right. And there's a lot of variation. You've got your shearing, your wool handling, your pressing, all of those sorts of things going on at the same. And they're all different skills. And it's just fascinating. Really is.
Well, there you go. An endorsement from someone who's been right around the world with her job and is now used to the bright lights of Auckland. Come back home to Masterton and telling you should come and see the Golden Shears, the greatest spectacle you will ever witness.
Do it.
Jar for someone else to maybe take one of the two top spots Ricky Stevens. He hoisted that 80k straight up that pole, never wiggled an eye, just straight up, no friction, and here he goes now. He's got the big trunk muscles, banging away. He says, I'll take a breather. Now, this is a bit of an art and a skill. Take a breather, but do a light-duty job for a wee second or two.
Throws
As in
going.
branding.
Thanks, Gerald. We'll just get these throws on the table. We've talked all through these heats at how difficult these fleeces are. These girls have made a pretty damn good job of getting these fleeces on just as they need them to be. This would be a real experience for Rosie. They certainly don't prepare their wool like this up in Locken Head. Fantastic show they host up there. Love going up there. It's just a great place to be. Sam as well. Full-time mother, I'm pretty sure at the moment. And lovely to see that she's helping out with Golden Shears. I saw her up there last night in the presentation role. This is what Masterton is all about. It's about how we all work together to bring a fabulous event to not just Masterton, but to the world through live streaming. And I'm not sure whether you noticed before, but we've got... I saw on the live streaming before our local MP, Kieran McAnulty, talking with Hilary Barry in the house. We are getting the rich and the famous visiting Masterton. How cool is that? But yes, down the end here, Adia just getting that last fleece off the table. Need to be quicker, you girls, because these fleeces need a heck of a lot of setting up. Getting it organised. This next fleece onto the table. Let's see how we go. Yep, that was a bit of a rocky one, Adia. And for Sam, yes, that was a bit of a rocky one as well, trying to keep that on that table. Rosie, the Scottish girl, taking it to the Kiwis, showing us how it's done. Back to you, Gerald.
Yeah, cheers, Mavis. Oh, the glitz and glamour, as you say, the names are arriving. The glitz and glamour of the Golden Shears. Brings all the bright lights out. Ricky Stevens lets loose the cat. Takes a deep breath. Sweat now pouring off him. Still got a share in the senior yet. Tui Hyde, exactly same story. Sweat's not pouring off all the shoulders yet, but he's starting to get wound into it. They've been hard at it now for 11 minutes. Hard yakka pressing a bale. Very, very similar as a real sheared atmosphere. The only difference at the moment, if you're in a shearing shed and you were a presser, is the wool that's coming off those fleeces up the front would now be filling this box right here. Okay, you don't have the pleasure of just letting that sit there and lie for a wee while. No, that box starts getting filled up. So when you get this bale out, you've got another half bale looking at you. Then you're back in that bottom box tramping it, so forth, so forth. Busy day for the presser. And this is what they do. Clearing the wool now, Tui. Pulling over the flaps. We're on to the last load of staples these days. 10 or 15 years ago it might have been, you would have sewed these up with some string. The cap itself would be a separate item to the pack. And here we go, the finishing touches done on this Farmlands Wool Packs New Zealand sponsored event. And thank you so much to you guys, long-serving sponsors. I know that is real peace of mind to committee when someone really commits for long term in helping this event out and helping the Masterton community. And here's Ricky Stevens. The finishing touches, now running time. It's 12 minutes, it's good time, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky, when you're ready to stick that hand in the air, sweat pouring off this man straight out of the... Whoa, Ricky, what a finish.
Thank you, Gerald. If we can just come over here just for a quick minute. We've got lucky enough to have Hilary Barry with us at the moment. Hilary, what do you reckon?
I tell you what, I'm having the time of my life. Is everybody else having a great time? Yes! This is awesome. The skill, the physicality, it's just amazing.
It sure is. Look, here are these wool handlers trying to get this last fleece on the table. I've been talking about, we've had a great season, a lot of sunshine. These sheep are so well grown, the wool, that there's not a lot that holds the fleeces together. Right. Normally they would be a little bit tighter. So the skill of these women, these wool handlers here today, is really at the top end because they're having to hold together a fleece that doesn't really want to hold together.
I tell you what, they are so quick too. I mean, they are so nimble, jumping around the tables, getting it all sorted. I'm amazed at the speed that they're able to do.
Yeah. They are very quick, and this grade in particular, they're preparing for qualifications for the World Championships in France next year. So this is a big deal.
Oh yeah, who wouldn't want to go to France, eh?
Maybe we could work something out.
Okay, we got the brim in hand for these wool handlers. Adia Mullins down there, the shearing contractor from Dannevirke. Up she goes with the hand, time taken. We got Samantha Gordon, local girl, plenty of local support, I hope. Here we go, come on guys, cheer her on. We got Rosie, hey, way to go Samantha. We got Rosie Keenan from Lockenhead in Scotland. She might have had a few ales last night, SIL. There we go. Well done, Rosie. Ooh, these wool handlers are really turning up the tempo. Adia Mullins. Well done. Your cleanup was amazing. Greg.
Thanks, Huma. Just a final call. There's half a dozen senior shearers that haven't registered in. Dean Tukaki, Louis Pawai, Mark Taylor, Tui Hyde, and Barney Cummings. Oh, okay.
How did that heat end up, Gerald?
Yeah, very good up here, Mavis. So we've got Tui Hyde come in with a lighter bale, okay. 150, the target of 160. But Ricky Stevens, who we managed to pluck off the seats here and say, you're the next highest man in, pulled off a target weight of 160, and he's 162, folks. Ricky Stevens has got his ducks lined up all right here today. Right, that's the finish of our three action-packed, hard-working, sweating carry-on here of the individual men's pressing. Now, we're going to take about a 5 or 10 minute break here before we move into a final, okay, of the women's individual pressing. Now, we're going to do that because both these women are great multitaskers and they are going to be in the wool handling as well. So we've just got one that's going to do the wool handling, then they'll come over here, then we're going to have the women's final. So don't go too far away. Over to you, Mavis.
Yep, just kia ora to the young men of Rathkiel. Hope you've had a good day.
Aren't they handsome? My brother used to go to Rathkiel. The uniforms changed a little bit over the years.
Louis Pawai, sorry.
Jerry.
Okay, this is the last heat, ladies and gentlemen, of the open wool handling. Jamie McLean, Carmen Smith and Melanie Morris, 3 in this heat.
I want a photo with Hilary Barry, Greg.
Well, isn't it fantastic we have Hilary here, and over the years, periodically, we've had 7 sharp at the Golden Shears, and we'd love to see them here again, Tuma, doing a bit of a live pod show as such. We had them here, I think it might have been the World Championships. Mavis might remember more than what I can, but really great to see television back in the frame here. And of course, building up to the big one tomorrow night, and it's always been the million-dollar question, why can't these guys come along and have a good hard look at this iconic event?
We had the breakfast show here yesterday morning, Greg, and that went live, so that was pretty cool. But actually, don't want to offend Hilary, but, you know, TV's getting to be a little bit redundant with our live streaming. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. It's live streaming is live television as such now, and you can hook in wherever. You don't have to pay Sky rates or anything like that, and go in on your computer onto a website and it's right in front of you 24/7.
Everybody loves Hilary Barry. Okay, we're just waiting on the green light. There we go. Can we have our judges to the board? Have we got all our judges? out there having a cup of tea.
All right, let's get the...
Keepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. Okay, this is the 10th and final heat. We've had a million wool handlers here this morning, and a few haven't turned up. They probably had to go to work. We've had a really good season of lambing, and so there's plenty of sheep around to be shorn. And not everybody can have the luxury of coming to the show sometimes when a farmer says you got to go to work or you got to go to work. But here we go. We got Jamie McLean here on table number 1. She's from Tai Happy or TPE. Carmen Smith. She's from a little place out the road called Pongaroa. And Melanie Morris. She is the other half of the Australian team that will be competing against New Zealand later on tonight. So a lot of experience all the way through, Mavis. You know, like even these young wool handlers that have just come up, nobody's looked out of place.
That's right. And I guess the big thing, these wool handlers have drawn these last stands because they entered early. So just a lesson for all of those of you who are intending to enter in the future, get in early, enter early. You get the opportunity to watch everybody else and just check out the fleeces, check out the shearers. There is an advantage, but if you're going to be a late entry, you're first up and hey-ha. But yes, certainly another great heat number 10. What a fabulous number of heats. Oh, yes. That was a big one for you, Carmen. You did that pretty well. Mel had a nice little fleece there. Would have been good to save one of these little ones for last, actually. Just a little bit of a tip for you. Keep the little ones, ask the shearer to keep the little ones for last so that you can have a bit of a fast finish. Get those big, ugly ones done first.
Thanks, Mavis. Just quickly, we have the first heat of the senior heats drawn. Stand 1, Angus Funacone. Stand 2, Willie Tahiti. Stand 3, Varney Stringer. On 4, Johnny Crawford. 5, Steve Jane. 6, Naki Maraki. Heat number 2, Connor Puha, Kieran Devan, Roman Smith, Aidan Lambert, Jackson Haraki, and Barry Cummings. First 2 heats of the senior shearing. You guys should be pretty ready to go. We're on the last heat of the open wool handling.
How exciting, starting to build up to tomorrow and to tomorrow night, Toma.
Yes, most definitely. She's been an action-packed first day, and this day starting off no differently. Open wool handling heats at the moment. The Golden Shears are the sponsor of this event. We've had a large number of entries. I think they said that we're 20% up on last year, so it's a real good field of competitors that we have this year. But here we go. We're going to need Jamie here on table number 1 to just come on, Jamie. You need to get a wriggle on because the shearer is about to show another sheep out the porthole. Here we go. Carmen Smith. Oh, not quite releasing. Melanie Morris. Maybe a few too many of those big red-eye fleeces, Mavis.
Yeah, and let's just have a look at those cleanups on that shearing board. For all of that wool that you can see up there, collected together the size of a credit card, you're going to attract a penalty point. I saw up there, I guess, some cleanups on that shearing board that would have been nothing, but there would have been one there that probably would have attracted at least getting close to 2 penalty points. You know, you're giving points away, wool handlers, if you're not going to be really diligent and quick at doing the little things really, really well. And these wool handlers up here, they're the ones that can do it and do it very, very well, day after day. Big shout out to Carmen there. She's been doing this sort of work for a long time. First ran across Carmen in '98 in Gorey, Ireland, at the World Championships. And she was in a shearing final there. So she's a master at a number of these disciplines. There she is, back to the eye clip. She knows how to work it. Very diligent, very smart. As I said before, these wool handlers probably know shearing as well as shearers. They know the pattern of a shearer. They know when he's going to be at different parts. They know whether the shearer has a quick hand or a slow hand, whether he fills his comb up. and they work to those aspects of their shearer. There we go, up there again, getting a clean up. You see, if you're having trouble setting up and getting that fleece on the table, it does just hold you up a little bit from getting back to the shearer for that clean up. So it all impacts on each other. Great to see Mel back in New Zealand. She's a fabulous competitor from Australia. She's no stranger to any of us over here. Love having them, they're great competitors. Jamie down the end, you know, she's been a constant. She's always here. She gives it 150%, 170%. Fabulous competitors, great people, great for our industry.
Yes, you did right, Mavis. You know, the industry wouldn't be what it is without these wool handlers up here right now. Some people call them the lead wool handlers. Some people call them head wool handlers. Others just call them dragons. But I mean, it depends on the culture in the area that you're from. But these wool handlers here, they're working away nicely, coming down the last side of the shearers. The pressure's been on these wool handlers right from 7:45 this morning. These shearers have been really gunning it, making these wool handlers work. Come on, Jamie. Need to get that wool into the fadge. Here we go. She gives the table a bit of a lift and a bang. Gets rid of those second cuts through there. 1 minute and 10 seconds is the seal time. So let's see how these wool handlers handle it. Oh, lovely throw on one. Nice, Carmen. Melanie.
Nice.
That's a much better throw from Melanie down there on table number 3.
Yes.
So 1 minute 10 seconds, Mavis. Not a lot of time.
Yeah, that was a great throw from you, Mel. She struggled with it at the start, but, you know, sometimes when you've got a fleece like that, you can give it a bit of lift. And if you can give it that lift, it will unfurl. And she was lucky enough to have a fleece that she could do that with, and she had the good sense to know that she could. So they're very quickly getting around those fleeces now, because they know time is ticking over. They know who's had the fastest time. They know these things because they're in this final heat of the open wool handling heats. And they've been able to gauge their mahi on those other factors. So here we go for the clean-up. And again, just look at the style of particularly Carmen and even Jamie up there, very aggressive. They're attacking this like nothing else. But this is just the first round. The big secret now is to get to the second round, to get into those semi-finals. That's what everyone wants to do. And then into those finals. No mean feat, not an easy task with such a big class. Here we go, not far away now. Checking, checking. Yes, there you go, JB. Great finish. And you too, Carmen. Mel just making sure she doesn't want to leave too much for the judges to find out the back.
You and I will go up to the studio.
Well done, Mel. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Thank you, Mavis. While everyone's rounding off with the open wool handling, just to repeat, the 175th anniversary Royal Easter Show, 1st of April on a Sunday. And any inquiries to Mr. Phil O'Shaughnessy, who's here in the audience. I'm sure many of you know Phil. So won't it be a great occasion, a great anniversary there. I've already done the first 2 heats of the senior, just repeating heat number 3 for the senior shearing. Wade Taylor on 1, Jade McGuire Ratama 2, David Gordon 3, Ricky Stevens 4, Paul Austin 5, James Lowry on 6. There we are, the first 3 heats of the senior shearing, which will start very shortly. That first heat should be ready to go in 5 minutes. Heat number 4, the senior shearing. Stand 1, Jack James. On 2, Cody Gregg. John Melseed on 3. Louis Pawai on 4. Dan Tukaki on 5. And Tui Hyde on 6. Heat number 5, stand 1, Mark Taylor. On 2, Phil Holland. Barney Cummings on 3. Sarah Higgins 4. Thomas Lima on 5. Just 5 competitors in that heat. Heat number 6, stand 1, Sam Davison. On 2, Jacob Brunton. On 3, Sin Gauk. On 4, Rahana Hukianga. And on 5, Pagan Karauri A. So there we go, 5 again in heat number 6. In heat number 7 of the senior shearing, Laura Bradley on 1, Punga Mullins on 2, Tigwin Bradley on 3, Ross Thompson 4, Paul Swan on 5. The senior, the final heat. Heat number 8, on 1, Shelley King. On 2, Joseph Winders. On 3, Stefan van Orshat. On 4, Rob Wilkinson. And on 5, Lionel Taumata. There we are, the final heat of the senior shearing. But if we turn the clock back a little, the first heat shall be nearly ready to go. On stand 1, Angus Finnecon. On 2, Willie Tahiri. 3, Varney Stringer. 4, Johnny Crawford. 5, Steve Jane. And 6, Naki Maraki. So you guys...
Good morning, viewers, the World Wide Web and Wairarapa TV. Welcome along once again to the 2018 Golden Shears on a wonderful Friday morning. We've had a fantastic start to the morning, and we've just completed the open wool handling elimination heats. 36 competitors in there this morning, Mavis, something like that?
Something like that. It was a fabulous group of competitors, a fabulous offering.
I
Very
heard
cool.
you say cream de la cream was here this morning, so that's a nice way of putting it. And look, and sitting in here with us in the studio here is none other than Mr. Joel Henare. Tēnā koe, Joel. Kei te mihi atu kia koe I tēnei wā.
Kia ora, koro.
Kia ora, kia ora. And this is a big season for you. Currently, you are the world's best wool handler. Mm-hmm. Crowned in Waihopai and Invercargill last February, and you are the current reigning Golden Shears Open Wool Handling Champion. So, Mavis, we're sitting in esteemed company here, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, Joel, we've just had the elimination heats and watched you, and I think you might have ended up with 22 points on the, or was there a mistake in the computer readout or something? But it looked like it was 22.
Yeah, it was 24, I think,
24.
once they added it all up. But, yeah, it was pretty good.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Well, I saw Aria Mullins go there a little while ago, and my poor darling, she might have had about 50-odd points there. But it's, hey, look, we'll just go back, and there was some commentary from the commentators. Were the fleeces that difficult?
No, not at all. They're some of the best fleeces I've seen here for many years. What you see out there is just probably a little inexperience showing from some of the competitors. The fleeces, they're beautiful. You couldn't get it any better. There's only the odd one that has colour that we've seen come through this morning, but you know, well-even line of sheep. Everyone's got some big fleeces, but they're not that big. It's actually the individual spreading them out and making them bigger and, you know, throwing them too much air and they open up. So that's why it looks that way. But
giving them air time.
Oh, yeah, they're good fleeces.
Well, it's good to hear you say that because we have watched from the novice all the way to the open class, and you could see the differences in the way they were putting those fleeces on the tables. Couldn't you see, Mavis?
Yes, so, you know, being such a great season, and these are typical East Coast crossbreds, so you're used to them. A lot are not. But, you know, they don't have those binders that are holding them, you know, give you that webby look to keep them together. So for those who are used to these kind of fleeces, they're sweet.
Yep.
But for a lot, this is creating quite a challenge for them, and we've certainly seen that through the grades. But yeah,
that's building character too, I think, and you know, that's giving them experience that they need, and you know, to be able to do all types of wool.
Absolutely, absolutely, Joel. It's character building, eh?
It sure is.
Well, we've got semi-finals coming up, and I think they go down to 12, a quarter-final, or could be even more competitors.
16.
Well, I'm sure you'd have to do that because the quality of the competitors here, give them their 2 bites at the Savoy. It's got to be really, you've got to have all these good people. So, Joel, you're sitting on 99 open wins at the moment.
Yeah, that's not a good number.
No, I don't think that's the best number to ever have. So 99 not out, well, in a cricket term, and we wish you well, and if you could crown this off tonight, because there's the North Island circuit's not here at all, is it? This is just the Golden Shears finals tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night there will be the open circuit.
Okay, well, there's another one that you could possibly...
in the test. Are you in the test, Joel?
Yeah, I'm in the test.
So there's a couple of opportunities there.
Oh, hell, he's on a hiding
Let's do 101, eh?
But the 99 wins just come solely from open titles.
Individuals.
Yeah, not from teams events.
Okay, so no teams.
No teams.
Out, right, got it.
And look, we talked about the sheep, and Cross Keys Mavis has been a supplier of the sheep here for a long time in the full wools.
Absolutely. Wix has done an amazing job of year after year providing us with those full wool sheep. And, you know, this season in particular has not been easy. It's been semi-drought, you know, really hot. So we've been very appreciative of the extra effort that Cross Keys have made to make sure these come to us in a stunning, you know,
Well, we'll go back to the web now because I was astounded at the amount of people that are viewing the Golden Shears online, and I talked with Noise Productions a little earlier on with Toby, and I said, how many people we getting? And I said to him 5,000, and he said no. I said 15, and he said no. And he said there's possibly over 75,000 people viewing the Golden Shears.
That's
throughout
amazing.
the year, and we've made a target, haven't we, Mavis?
Yeah, we're saying let's get this boosted. Let's do 100,000 for Golden Shears in 2018. So people, ring your whānau, ring your friends, get them to hook into the live streaming. We don't want to bang the system over, but 100,000 sounds like a good number, eh?
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, we better ask the folk in the engineering side, could we jam it up, or is there a possibility that we may not be able to handle the traffic? We'll see. The guys say it's no issues. So, Joel, thank you very much for spending the time with us here in the studio here, and I'm sure, just looking at you, very composed, not an ounce of sweat coming off you, and we wish you well. And how's Erica?
Oh, she's good, and
the kids?
Yeah, no, they're fine. It's been a good season for me and the competitions I've managed to get to. Fortunate enough to have a sponsor come on board, Undermine, their new Shearing clothing line.
That's what we want to hear.
So helping me get towards all these competitions. It's not easy having a permanent full-time job out of the industry and then still coming along to you know, compete just like Cherie. It's no different to Cherie, really.
Congratulations, and we wish you well. And we'll go live back to the stadium, and I believe that they're underway with the senior elimination heat. So on behalf of the team here, we thank you very much, Mavis, Cross Keys for the sheep suppliers, and Golden Shears, the sponsor of the Open Wool Handling. Congratulations, Joel.
Cheers, thank you.
Good luck,
back
Joel.
to you, Toby.
He'll get that out the hole. He'll be quite happy to do that and move on. But that's very unfortunate for him in heat number 1. First time up. Look at that. Wee honey. Goodness gracious me. Settle down, you wee beauty. I'm sure that's what's running through his mind.
Yeah, that's exactly what's running through his mind, Norman. But sheep 2 on the board now.
Hey, just interrupt you there, Joey. Johnny Kirkpatrick. Can we get Johnny Kirkpatrick to come and see me, please? Johnny K. as Shearers, North Island Shearers rep. If Johnny Kirkpatrick comes and sees me, that'll be great.
Still, though, it's stand number 3 there, coming down the last side, Varney Stringer. He looks quite a competent shearer down over that last front shoulder. The man from Central Otago, Ranfurly. So he's a wee way from home and looks like he shears second shear sheep all the time in Ranfurly, but there wouldn't be many second shear down there, would there, Norm?
Not a lot of second shear down there. He's a very capable young man, this fella. Got a lot of talent, and I reckon he's going to have a big future in the industry, this boy. In the sport anyway, he is going to have a big future in the industry, but in the sport as well. So great to see him doing so well here at the Golden Shears. Like you said, the second shear sheep here at the Golden Shears can be a bit of a challenge for the South Island shearers. That, you know, gear-wise and everything else, they're just completely different to what the boys shear down south. So it's good to see Varney up here, and he's smoking along into the first hind leg on sheep number 3. Winds his way, a couple of big shots up the undermine, making a beautiful job by the look of it. Bit of dust in the back of that one, but we'll see how that affects his cutter over the 5 sheep. Johnny Crawford, he's up the neck as well, and he's only on sheep number 2, of course. He had that shocker of a first sheep there, Johnny Crawford, but he'll just work his way back into it.
Yeah, they've probably got a little bit of dirt up their backs and in their wool just from rubbing. So, you know, shearers, don't be afraid to change a handpiece just to keep a fresh cut. Because if your gear's just starting to go off and not quite cutting, that's when the sheep will start wriggling, Norm, and also you're not going to get a very good finish. So it's a good idea if you get a gritty, sandy one, is to change your steel, and because you should have trust in your gear. That's why we all take 2 handpieces up.
Yeah, that's right, and of course... Yeah, that's right. These guys, these senior grade shearers, are experienced enough with gear, or they'll have a mentor or someone to help them with their gear, so they'll know their second comb's going to go pretty good. Johnny Crawford finishing touches to sheep number 2. He's in for 3. Just an unfortunate shear for him. Well, he'd be making the most of the rest of the sheep, but that first one took a fair bit of handling mentally and physically, so Johnny Crawford way in and out he goes.
Still though, Varney Stringer, the man on stand 3 from Ranfurly. Up the neck he goes on sheep number 4. And stands 4, 5 and 6 are still on sheep 3. Pretty sure.
Can we have Samantha Baxter, please? Sam Baxter and Logan Kamora. Can you come and see us? Sam Baxter and Logan Kamora. You were saying, Joey? Oh, you probably can't remember what you were saying.
Yeah, no, my memory's not like it used to be, mate. I've got my attention span of 8 seconds, but it's still the man on 3. He looks pretty comfortable. It's when you're shearing in the first heat, it's, you know, it is a good idea just to get up there and get going. Sometimes the first couple of heats can be a little bit slower. Obviously, the beauty of shearing later is you can monitor what's going on and you know what time or where everyone's sort of shearing at, and that was always my philosophy, Norm. If I was in the first heat, I'd just hook into it and just get going. Because I just find otherwise you can get bogged down.
And it was always fantastic to see, Jerome, that you know, you always qualified for the heats. That was great.
That's about the only shear I was guaranteed, mate, because I'd paid my entry fee and I didn't have to qualify to shear in the heats, eh? Actually, that's rich coming from you, Norman. Jeez.
Anyway, Angus up here on stand number 1. He's having a bit of a mare as well. He's going to battle his way over that last part of the sheep, but they're pretty tricky, these old ewes. They get you when you're least expecting it. And Uli Tahedi, he had to battle that one, last leg off that one as well. Just when you think you're about finished and done and dusted in for another one, they give you a bit of jip. Varney Stringer from the South Island, up the neck he goes. Steve Jane down there on stand number 5, down over the last front shoulder. So Varney and Angus got sheep number 5 on the board. Naki Maraki down there on stand number 6, round onto the last cheeky sweeps and down, heading for home. Sheep 4, I think it is, on the board for Nucky. But Varney Stringer, nice comfortable shear he's had. Like I said, he's got a bit of talent, this young man. Good young fella too. Winds his way up the backbone and turns for home. Cheek comes off, 5th and final sheep on the board it is for Varney Stringer. Angus not too far away on stand number 1. Long blow time for Angus. He's got his 5th and final on the board. Wally Tahedi right there as well. Half a shot ahead of Angus maybe. But down comes Varney Stringer and going to bring heat number 1 to a close on stand number 3. For him anyway. Right out to the toe. He sweeps over the tail. Out it rolls. Easy as that, Joey.
Push your button, Varney. Varney, push your button.
Ooh.
That was a very good shear, Norm.
It was. You're not used to all this modern technology up here in the North Island.
No. Willie Tahedi finishes off. Angus finishes off here. So just like I say, Johnny he had a bit of a mongrel, his first sheep, and then he just had to take his time and get the wool off it. It was turning him inside out, but he settled in again, and that's his last sheep on the board. So too is young Steve there on stand 5. He's up the long blow with Naki as well on stand 6. So there was good positive share on stand 3. And Norm, like we were talking about before, he knew he was in stand 1. He got up and just shore, and he looked comfortable from the first blow, really.
He did. It's obviously gear going well, and it helps a lot mentally, doesn't it? When you drop the first couple of blows in on sheep number 1, and your gear's just humming along, it just helps everything mentally. And Varney, of course, he looked like he was pretty comfortable up there. No problem at all. So looking up top, 31.5. So when those figures go yellow, they have for Willies, that's his total points on the end there, 39.32. We'll just see what Varney's is and keep an eye on the lowest points through the next couple of heats and just see where he's sitting. Hopefully we'll have a good South Island man in the top 18, at least one. So Johnny Crawford, down he comes. He's going to have the last say, of course, folks. He was definitely wouldn't be behind if it weren't for that first sheep, because he's a pretty handy shearer, this fella. From up the east coast there, another couple of shots. Out it goes. Well done, guys. Give him a hand, folks. Heat number 1 of the Powerco sponsored senior shearing. So, Greg, we must have heat 2 waiting in the wing, surely, and we'll get them up. Who are they?
Thank you, guys. Stand number 1, Connor Puha. Stand 2, Kieran Devan. On 3, Ramon Smith. On 4, Aidan Lambert. 5, Jackson Haraki. And 6, Barry Cummings. Have you guys up there as quick as you can, thank you.
Okay, I'll just butt in there for a wee second, Greg. Right, down the back of the stadium here, we're starting to heat up. We're into the women's individual final, sponsored by Farmlands and Woolpacks New Zealand. Are you ready, Kushla? Kushla Abraham, right here from Masterton, is going to be on press 1. Give her a round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. She's one of your local girls. From Pongaroa up the road, Carmen Smith. Give her a mighty round of applause too, please. There's an interesting fact here why I have your attention. Both of these been in 2 finals for Kushla, 3 of these finals for Carmen, and neither have managed to win it yet. So, the anticipation on that. Timekeepers are ready. Judges ready. Pressers, on your marks, go! Oh, go while the red light's up there. Oh, they've both got the same style at this stage. Branding time. Few points tied up in the branding. You've got to have it accurate. Where there's a capital, there's a capital. Where there is a slash, there is a slash. It has to be accurate. It can cost you a few points. The target weight is 150 kgs. It's hard work pressing. They're averaging in the heats 19 odd minutes. Not 19 odd minutes in little bursts. I mean 19 odd minutes full out hard work. So you're going to have to get them behind these 2 girls. One of them is going to win it, and they are both hungry for that win. They are going to bring their A game.
I just might interrupt you there. Thanks very much. And we have the thumbs up. Heat number 2, it is the Powerco Senior. The boys are at the door. The green light there, and the referee's happy. Timekeepers ready. Competitors set, go. Away we go. So just while they're working their way into the first of these 5 sheep, can we have the finalists for the novice assemble down here with me, please. The novice shearing finalists from yesterday. If you're in the stadium, can you come and see Ronnie King at the announcer's desk? The novice shearing finalists. If you're here, come and see us. So heat number 2 it is on the stage. We're just going to keep an eye on Gerald Spain and the two girls down there that are frantically trying to get a bit of wool into a sack down there in the pressing arena as well. So Gerald, what do we got going on down here? Is this the final for the women's singles or the single woman?
Oh no, I've got it right now. I've changed the word single to individual. That tidied that up, put a bit of thought into that. The individual world, well, it's not the world, but it's a big final. It may as well be the biggest show on the planet, the Golden Shears. We're going for a load of wool, ladies and gentlemen. You know how ladies are good at crochet and knitting. We're going to knit this thing together in all sorts of knots. There we go, a huge big armful into the bottom box there. I'd like to welcome my co-commentator, Coro Mullins. Hello, Coro, how are you? Look at this bundle here, Coro. Booyah! Loading the boxes up.
Thank you, Gerald. Well, I believe this lady here on stand number, or this is press number 2. What happened to the other champion from last year, Christine Woolen? She didn't make the cut, did she?
No, look, as it always is at the Golden Shears, your reputation before you just doesn't carry you into the next season.
Well, this lady here on this press number 2, Carmen Smith, looks the fitter one. She looks the fitter one, and I'm sure their families are all here somewhere watching them, keeping an eye on it. But this girl over there on press number 1, Kushla Abraham, has got hometown advantage.
Definitely. As she starts stitching another lot together. She's bent her legs, ladies and gentlemen. Booyah! Look at that. A huge load of wool. And you're thinking now, how are they going to do this for 20-odd minutes? They are. That's what they're going to do. They knit it together. Stay with them. Keep sending them positive energy. She roared the big load up. That's 20-odd Ks, Coro.
You don't need to take out a gym membership when you get in the wool sheds, Gerald. You can just go along and press a couple of bales and shed a couple of kilos at the same time. But this Carmen Smith, I think she's buggered. She's tired. We'll go back to this lady on press number 1. Kushla Abraham is the form horse at the moment. Where are you, Masterton? Make a little bit of noise. Oh, that's the one, Kushla.
She jumps in there, smashes that one down. Of course, they've had a busy day too. They've just come straight off the open wool handling, and here they are now in a big pressing final. Into the bottom box they go. Kushla says, right, I've got to get down and out of here. What else is going on apart from them trying to get all this wool on the boxes? They've got 2 judges keeping an eye on them, all the technical aspects, all the safety aspects, the tidiness of the room, but we love the power stakes as Kushla bangs and another big load there. Jumping from box to box goes Carmen Smith. Oh, we're going to get some excitement in this audience soon.
What's the weight? 150 kilos.
150.
Well, and we've got our farmland sponsor here, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the wool pack people here. We're watching this all here at the Masterton, the farmland sponsored Golden Shears wool pressing singles final. And Kushla Abraham here, I believe she's probably in front. I believe she's probably about 20 seconds ahead of Carmen Smith at the moment, Gerald.
Yeah, well, she can change her right. It drifts here and there. She's taking deep breaths. They breathe through their nose for a wee while, and then all of a sudden, like Carmen, the mouth starts opening and they start just drawing in huge gulps of air as another big load of wool goes in. Now they're going to clamber their way back up. They're going to try and get 80-odd Ks in here in that bottom box. Then they've got to haul it up and swing it round. Plenty of action. We'll give them a little break and get the limelight off them at the moment. We'll go back to the shearing, Norm.
Yeah, thanks, Gerald. We'll just keep an eye on what's going up here as well. But, of course, that is a big final down there in the pressing arena, so we'll tuck back to you guys pretty quickly. But young Connor Puha up here on stand number 1. We've watched him coming up through the grades. Talented young man, this fella, right out onto the back leg on sheep number 3. Jackson Hardacke down there on stand 5, and Barney Cummings from the deep south, ladies and gentlemen, down there on stand number 6. Go the south. He backs out. He's leading the field as far as speed goes. Big Barney and from Winton on stand number 6. Connor Stand number one, way down the belly he goes. So they're just working their way. They're on a